everybody, it's me. I'm so sorry I haven't made any more videos. Or well, that's not entirely true, I have. But that video proved to be a lot of work and I ended up just wanting to take a break from working on it and fixing it to actually work on YouTube. So I thought I'd do a more chill, casual video in the meantime. As you might have guessed from the different fan arts at the beginning, this video is going to focus on a webtoon called Tower of God. I'm going to try to do it completely unscripted, and that might be a really bad idea, or it might be fine, we'll see. I started seriously reading it right after the anime came out in 2020, and I actually read all of it in 5 months. It was crazy. I also think that the anime is actually really good. I disagree with those who keep saying it sucks. I mean, I've seen other first seasons of animes that are supposedly must-watches and not been as intrigued as after I watched Tower of God. The story was just so intriguing to me. And it's because of the anime that I even read the webtoon at all. Like, do you know how rare it is for me to read like 500 plus chapters of something? Like, if there's an anime, I'm more likely to just watch the anime and not read the source material at all. Especially if it's that long. It's also one of the few animes I've gotten my older sisters to sit through with me. So I feel like all of that is a testament to just how good the story is. And now you may not think the art is good or whatever, that's fine, and the story may not be your thing, that's also fine. But the webtoon readers out there who say that the anime actually butchers the story, I do think that's quite ridiculous because I read the story. And while the webtoon is better in the sense that there's like way more of it, so obviously it's better, but I think the anime does a really good job adapting season 1, or at least a very decent job. Like when I went back and read all of season 1 after watching the anime, it felt to me like just a more in-depth version of the anime. But you're free to disagree with me. Like, again, I don't really care. The purpose of this video isn't going to be why the anime is good, but actually it's going to be about one of the themes that I think shows up the most in Tower of God, the webtoon. One of the themes that resonated with me the most is the way the story explores character growth and development through power escalation. This is a really efficient way to do this because you can satisfy the people who only care about the fights and the people who really want a good story, because you're doing like fighting and really good character writing at the same time. Bomb is one of those characters that has no idea who he is because he has no memories of his past. And when he finally gets into the tower, he is like constantly told who he is and who he has to be and who he's destined to be and all that. Bomb probably didn't think he was anybody significant, but there's no getting away from the fact that he is incredibly important to this story and the Tower of God lore itself. Before everything that happened in season 1, Bomb defined himself by another person, Rachel. She was everything to him, she was who he lived for, life was absolutely nothing without her. So he's left feeling quite hopeless and empty when she betrays him, and on top of that he loses contact with all his new friends from season 1. So at this point he doesn't know who he is or what the meaning of life is, at least not anymore. When we finally do meet Bomb again, he seems like a completely different person. He's jovial Grace, which is like this identity that's essentially been forced upon him. He's a cold, heartless Slayer candidate, trained and bred for only one purpose, to kill the King Jihad, the king of the tower. The organization called FUG has ripped him away from his friends and basically held him at gunpoint, or held all his friends hostage actually, because they believe that Bomb is the only person who can kill the king, because they know that only an irregular can kill the king, and Bomb is one of those. But also on top of that there's a prophecy, so he apparently is the one destined to kill the king and bring change to the tower. Bomb of course has no interest in any of this, but Rachel is gone, like she's not for him anymore. And he can't turn to any of his new friends either, so he doesn't have anything else. And even when he is reunited with his friends, and he's given more freedom by FUG, he still is left with these burning questions and this crushing pressure from what is expected of him. So he's basically asking, who am I, for a lot of the story? Am I this god that the people have to put their faith in? Am I supposed to be there for them? I have all this power. Is that who I am? Do I really have to kill the king? Is that who I am? He tries to live up to the people's expectation and be there for them, help them, but it's never enough. He turns to his dear friends and to almost anyone he meets for guidance and answers, but ultimately, even that never seems to be enough. Bom's friend Kun tells him that he can't please everyone because he's only human, and tries his best to protect Bom from all the pressure and not to pressure him himself. And bless Kun's heart, he really only wants the best for Bom. He wants to protect his innocence and prevent him from becoming the cold-hearted person that he believes he is. But Kun can't hide him from everything, and he can't change the way Bom feels. I think Kun has actually become a little bit like Bom was at the beginning of the story. He's defining himself by one person, and he feels like he can't live without him. Because of this, I think Kun actually has a long way to go in growing himself and figuring out who he is. Bom is slowly forced to confront his own abilities and his own questions himself. And he finally realizes that he's just been waiting around for some grand answer to just show up. He's been waiting for some person that he cares about to tell him exactly what he needs to know and what he needs to hear. But the answer is very simple, much more simple than he thought it would be. He just needs to make a choice and stick to it. He'll define himself a little bit more every day by what he chooses. He's no longer going to let someone else decide that for him. He's going to discover it for himself. Right or wrong, he doesn't always know that, but he'll keep walking in faith. No longer is he going to try to live up to someone's image, no matter how important that image may be. But he doesn't completely reject that image either, or the persona of Ju Viola Grace. All that is a part of who he is, it's a part of his history, but none of that limits him anymore. I think there's a lot we can take away from this theme. There's certainly a lot that I take away from it. I can actually relate very strongly to the stuff that Bom was going through in this arc. And obviously my life is definitely not as fantastical and terrible and crazy as something in a fantasy comic, but I've been in that position where I just did not know who I was, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for the answer to come. It was almost as if I just couldn't see the answer until all the things that I liked the best about myself were stripped away, and it felt like I had nothing. I was forced to stop, look at what I had objectively, and make a choice. The thing that I had, was it who I am? No. But it was something that was inherently within me that I couldn't change or get rid of no matter what I did. I didn't really know what the right thing to do with it was, but the choice was basically to either let it lie dormant and essentially go crazy, or make a choice, step out in faith, and start using what I had, not worrying about what others think or whether it was right or wrong. The truth was, I would never discover what was right or wrong and what was best if I didn't step out and actually try something, actually make a choice. That was a huge turning point for me, and even though it's been hard and up and down, I've been so much more free. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope I did the theme justice because there's so much more details that I left out. It really is incredibly complex. And I kept my own story really vague too because, again, yeah, it is very complicated, but hopefully it still made sense. But before I go, I wanted to show you this top 10 list I sort of put together while I was making this video. It's like the top 10 official webtoons that I enjoy the most, at least currently. Some I have been reading for years, some I read to my sisters, some I've only been reading more recently but I just really enjoy. And I was curious as to whether anyone watching this reads any of these, and if they do, which one out of these would you like me to talk about the most? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. As always, you are awesome. I'll talk to you later.